Now the key to learn how to get shaft lean, right? From here, what I'm gonna feel is the stick goes from on my hip to pointed down towards the ground. So it's on my hip, it's at or just shy of parallel to the ground. Now if I go from this backswing position to my downswing position, I need to feel what it feels like to reverse that. So in transition, I want to feel here. Now notice my hands are just outside my leg. This is my takeaway. My hands are only, excuse me, my hands are only moving forward a couple of inches, but notice the difference in where that club is pointed, right? So when I do my takeaway, it's important that I'm not super hinged right off the bat. Notice if I hinge too much too early, it's pointed down towards the ground. I want it less hinged. I want the club to be floating back. And then as I work down, it points closer to the ground. I want to talk to you today about live view golf. Now you guys hear me say all the time that you need feedback when you're practicing. You need to know if you're actually doing what you're trying to do, and the best way to give yourself feedback ultimately is video. And not only is video the best way to give yourself feedback, but being able to see yourself simultaneously as you're doing a movement is the best form of video feedback. It's the best way I've seen to make changes in your swing and be able to correlate the differences between your feels and your reels. Live view is super easy to use and set up. Simply set it up behind or in front of you. You connect it with your iPad or phone, pop that on the ground. You can actually do your practice, see yourself as you're doing it, the best way to expedite your process. I encourage you guys to check out Live View Golf. We'll put a link in the description down below with a coupon code. Hey guys, Eric here outside at the Bethlehem Golf Club. In today's video, we're going to talk about the secret to shaft lean and really what is my favorite drill to learn how to get shaft lean, get the handle more forward, hit the ball more consistently, take a divot after the ball, etc. So let's dive right in and talk about just a quick recap of what shaft lean is, what we're talking about, how to do this. And guys, do us a favor, as you guys are watching, if you like the video, go ahead and click that like button down below, click the subscribe if you haven't already, really helps us out. So shaft lean at impact, right, what we're looking for during the downswing is by the time the hands get about to the right thigh, the club is still parallel to the ground. By the time I get to impact, the hands are about inside or over my left leg or left shoe. So the shaft here is quite literally leaning towards the target. That's the objective. A lot of the players and members at CogornoGolf.com that we see in the beginning and just everyday golfers, we struggle with having those angles let out too early. So by the time my hands get to my right thigh, the club and arm are already in a straight line. I've lost all my lag or hinge. And then by the time I get to impact, I have no shaft lean. So the goal is here, the mistake is here, the goal is here, the mistake is here. How do we start to fix that? Well, my favorite drill here, and I'm going to work through a little bit of a progression. Now this works great if you've got an alignment rod, driveway marker to stick on the side, and I'll show you this here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put this on the left side of my club. A little weird to grip at first if you haven't done it, but you'll get used to it. Now, as we do that, note when I put it on the side, I'm going to put about half of the alignment rod down the club, and about half is going to hang off the end of it, and that's important in a moment. So about half of it down, half of it on the left side, just underneath. Feel a little weird, that's okay. Now, when I start my swing here, I'm going to start with the alignment rod on my left hip. So it's right on my left hip. So from this side, touching my left hip here. When I do my little takeaway motion, not little takeaway, just normal takeaway, I'm going to keep it on my hip. Now it rides down my hip very slightly, but notice it doesn't come off my hip. Okay, I don't go out here like this. It stays on my hip. Now the key to learn how to get shaft lean, right? From here, what I'm going to feel is the stick goes from on my hip to pointed down towards the ground. So it's on my hip, it's at or just shy of parallel to the ground. Now if I go from this backswing position to my downswing position, I need to feel what it feels like to reverse that. So in transition, I want to feel here. Now notice my hands are just outside my leg. This is my takeaway. My hands are only, excuse me, my hands are only moving forward a couple of inches. But notice the difference in where that club is pointed, right? So when I do my takeaway, it's important that I'm not super hinged right off the bat. Notice if I hinge too much too early, it's pointed down towards the ground. I want it less hinged. I want the club to be floating back. And then as I work down, it points closer to the ground. So the exaggeration by the time I get my hands to my thigh is the club is not parallel to the ground where I said it's supposed to be. It's actually above that. And why do we do that? If this is the error, you exaggerate the opposite, right? Feel the opposite and exaggerate. So as I'm working down, the stick points down towards the ground. Now notice my body motions as I'm doing this. What I'm going to feel happening from my takeaway position to there, my left knee is going to feel like it works down and forward. So my left knee actually gets outside of my ankle. My left hip is going to feel like it works down and forward. My left shoulder is going to feel like it works down and forward. Like my left shoulder is actually working away from my chin a little bit. This is one I recently saw from Bob Grissett on Instagram. If you guys don't follow him, I saw him post this up and it reminded me of this drill. So when I go back down, left knee down and forward, left hip down and forward. Notice as I'm doing that, because I'm unhinged and I'm doing that motion, that creates that difference in that shaft angle to here. So one more time, on my hip goes down just a little bit, but I'm wide here. Left knee, left shoulder, left hip down and forward. Butt of the club and sticker down and forward. Now, as an exaggeration, what I'm going to feel is my hands moving a little bit more forward towards the target as well. So as I go from here, I'm actually going to get my hands about even with the golf ball and still feel like that stick is pointed down towards the ground a smidge. So one here, down to here. Now, if you're someone who throws early and has no shaft lane, you need to exaggerate that much so that when you make an actual swing in motion, it looks normal. One here, down and forward. Left knee, down and forward. Left hip, down and forward, shoulder, etc. Now, what I'm going to do, you can hit with the stick. I'm going to do a couple without it. I'm going to try and feel that same piece. I'm going to start slow, about 20-30% speed, build my way up. I'm going to do 1 or 2 rehearsals, like I have the stick on there, right? Handles forward to start. One here, all those downswing pieces to keep my handle forward. Now I'm going to hit this. I have a 9-iron. I'm going to feel the same pieces. I'm going to hit that one farther than I wanted to, and probably about 100 to 110 yards, which is about a half swing length. Now, I have good shaft lean as is now. So when I feel these, I have a little bit too much shaft lean, which is okay. If you're coming from this other part, you need to feel it. It should feel like the club is going to hit the ground a lot more than normal. It's going to feel like that club head's going to hit. You know, if you have a hard time taking a divot, this would be perfect. So again, I have that, retain that feel. I'm here, here. Left knee down and forward, hip down and forward, shoulder down and forward to get the handle forward. And if we look at that from face on, I bet you'll see that my hands are over my left leg and over my left shoe. Now the key here is this information and drill are great. It's going to work for you, but you're not going to know unless you record it. So you have to record yourself from face on. You have to use a live view or similar device. Hey Eric, how far forward should I feel my hands go? As far forward as you need to, so that at impact they're actually here. Hey Eric, I feel this far forward, is that good? I don't know. You have to record yourself. Feel as far forward as you need to get to there. Same thing, how far should the left knee, hip, shoulder? As far forward as you need to, so that when you actually hit, I'll do one more. And when you're struggling with this, what I would do is put the stick back in. This is how I'd actually practice it. Put the stick back in halfway. So the reason you don't do the whole thing up here is because you're actually going to get it in the ground. Failed to mention that before, but that's why. So halfway down, on the hip here, I'm wide. I have very little hinge. My right arm's wide. It's on my leg still. Down and forward. Down and forward. Okay, I got that. Have my live view on, right? I'm watching what that feels like. One rehearsal without it. Wide, down and forward. And I'm going to feel the same pieces. And again, that should, from face on, have my handle plenty forward. Now that's a little too far forward for me because I already have enough. If you don't, you need to exaggerate. So that's how the drill progression works. You can do one more little step to this if you want to lengthen it out, but basically it's going to be the same pieces. You can put the stick on here, get it to here, feel it hinging down towards the ground, and then at the target, if you wanted to add a little kind of layer to this. So the drill's this. Hey, how do I progress this to a full swing? One, down towards the ground, towards the target. One, down towards the ground, towards the target, with getting the hands about forward with the golf ball. So that'd be the little layer I'd add on for swing progression. So that's how you get shaft lean. This will work if you work it. You have to record yourself from face on, if I said that 6 times already, and exaggerate accordingly. If you guys have any questions, as always, leave a comment down below. Hey guys, thanks for watching today's video. If you liked the video, do us a favor, click that like button down below. Click the notification bell. Also, please subscribe if you haven't. If you do like these style of YouTube videos, we're gonna go ahead and put a card on the screen for another video very similar to this one, a little more detail on this topic. If you do want more coaching from myself, help build you a personal game plan to take your game to the next level, go ahead and click the Cogorno Golf logo on the screen. Thank you guys for watching.